Okay, woohoo! Day of review for test 1. Basically what we're going to be doing today is just go over questions and answers. I have this kind of today's objectives. Sorry that today's objectives way up on top got cut off because of the web conferencing, how it, the link bar up there goes over it. But I'm just going to answer your questions for the online review homework. And if you have any questions, we go over that, or old homework, or quizzes, or whatever. We can go over that stuff. And this is optional. There is a worksheet. If you had extra time and wanted some extra practice, you could do this worksheet. Okay. But let's just go through the main things on test 1, what to expect. It covers those sections, and I put that in my math lab right when you click on it to do it. So it covers those sections. There's 22 questions. I think the review is also 22 questions. Most of it is not multiple choice, and it is online, just like you kind of been doing your quizzes and homework. The thing that's different with a test than a quiz is you only have 55 minutes. Okay, so you have 55 minutes to do this test, and it's one attempt, so start to finish. Before you do a test, way down here it says you read through the help button in my math lab before you take this test. And if you want to, go ahead, go to the help button in my math lab. It's going to go over right up the top. They give information if you need Pearson tech support. But down here it says before you take an online test, kind of read through. Letter A is saying if you use, I think Firefox, with my math lab, they recommend to use Firefox. If you don't have Firefox, Internet Explorer is fine, but you just have to make sure it's all set up properly on the internet that you're using. So there's some recommended sites to go through. Right before you take a test, you might want to have something like CNN open. CNN will update their news like every 3 minutes or something like that. So it's constantly updating the internet. When you take a test, it doesn't necessarily do that. It's like you click on the test and that's when it uses it. So you might want to just have CNN open so it's constantly using your internet. C, if you get a pop-up that says your session is about to expire, would you like to extend it, make sure you click on retry. All right, so just some little helpful hints. And I'm glad I've been making you do quizzes online because I know some of you have already your computer at home is not set up properly, so you've been dealing with those issues. So make sure that it is all running fine. Okay, if you're on CVTC's campus, you shouldn't have any problems, but the campuses are not open on the weekends, so you'd have to take the test tomorrow. They should be fine for tests. They should be fine, okay? If you do have any problems, though, definitely, especially over the weekend, contact Pearson Technical Support. Now, it doesn't look like it's open Saturday, but maybe if you do like a chat feature, or I think there's a email that you can do. It's in the help button. Try giving them a call. I don't think you're going to have problems. I'm just kind of worst case scenario, call Pearson. Yep. Question? Okay, it just looked like someone was going to type something. Okay. All right. Sarah, I think, go ahead, change your color to green, Sarah, and Brad Nelson, change your color to green. If you come in a little bit late, don't change your color right away because then I can tell if you're late or not. Just make sure that I get you marked here. All right. It also says something about when you are taking the test, make sure you access it through the assignments button, not the dashboard. So if I go to my math lab here and I am going to take the test, I want to make sure I go to assignments and then show all, and then just click on test. The dashboard, I would not take any quizzes or tests from this dashboard because it just does not work very well. Okay, let's see. All right, let's see. Karsten, thank you. Karsten, go ahead and change your color to green. And, okay, so how do you know how to input exactly the way they want it? It's like I'm just going to pull up our review, Unit 1 review. And it's going to be, the test is going to be somewhat similar to the review, but it's not going to have exactly all the same questions. And when you take the test, it scrambles the order. In the online review homework, it's in order from section. So if you look in the upper right-hand corner, you can tell which chapter and which section this problem came from, Chapter 1, Section 1. If you go to number 2, also Chapter 1, Section 1, number 3, Chapter 1, Section 2, and so forth. I'm going to go to Chapter 10, Chapter 1, Section 4. Now, none of these are telling me how to enter my answer because I think they're simple problems. But let's look at this one. So the question was asked by Scott Matesky. Sometimes you don't know, Sarah, go ahead and mute yourself for a second. Sometimes you don't know how to enter in your answer. Well, right underneath the box, it says how to enter it in. If it's an integer, type an integer. Integer is like -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. But if it's not an integer, they don't want you to put decimals. They want you to write your answer as a fraction and make sure you simplify your fraction. So does that help, Scott? They will tell you underneath that little box or up in the original problem. Now, I do go back in tests and I do give partial credit. Just like I've been doing for your last 2 quizzes, I don't do that for all the quizzes. The first 2, I just wanted, just to make sure you understand, enter in your problems correctly. Because you have 2 options or 2 times to take the quiz, I probably won't be giving partial credit in the future. But for tests, you get a one-time shot. So I understand if you were nervous or whatever and the answer is supposed to be 1 and you wrote x equals 1, I'm going to go back and give you full credit for that. Okay, so I do check the test when we're done. But I do want you still to follow the directions. So if it wants a fraction and you wrote a decimal, they're trying to test you on, do you know how to simplify a fraction? So that would be partial credit, not full credit. Okay, no, and it's a whole learning experience. It's a learning experience. Okay, going back to this page, just to make sure we all understand, make sure you click submit, or there might be a save button on your test when you are done. And make sure it's before 11:59 p.m. or it'll kick you out. I am still collecting your work, just like for quizzes and the first few homeworks. So make sure that you submit it into the E360 Dropbox as soon as you're done. What else? I would highly suggest that you make I call it cheat sheet, both sides of one sheet of paper. Just put the hard problems that you've done. So if you thought this problem was difficult, copy the actual directions, the whole problem, then show all of your work, and then box your right answer. Why do you think it's good to have all of your tough problems in one location on one piece of paper? Why do you think that's good? It's faster. Why, Carson? What do you mean it's faster? I agree with you. Tish, go ahead and change your color to green, please. It's faster because you're not searching. You're not going through the whole book. You're not going through all your notes. You're not going through all your homework trying to figure it out. You have 55 minutes, so you can't waste time. So that's what I would do. I would put down on a piece of paper something you think you're not going to remember if you're nervous. So if it's formulas, like what's the perimeter of a rectangle, okay, you might know that right now because you're relaxed, but when you take a test, you're stressed out. So that's something you might want to put on there just for a quick reference. Okay, these are all my formulas that I think I'm going to have to know for the test. So that's kind of a hint for me. And you can use 5 pages on the final. That you cannot have open book or open notes or anything like that. So maybe get yourself used to that. This test, you could have open notes, you could have open book, but I'm telling you it's probably going to waste time. What else? Read in the syllabus. There is more information about tests. And then I say click through the assignments button. Now this document that I'm sharing with you right now is under Course Tools, Document Sharing. under reviews for test. So what the directions that I just went over, that is right there, the directions. You can pull it up. That there was an optional worksheet. You don't have to do it. Okay. How about questions from you guys? No? You guys are so quiet today.
Miss Parker?
Yes.
On the homework,
Yes.
2.5.
2.5?
Yep. You said it didn't matter what order it is in. It does.
Are you what? Let's look. What number, please?
Oh,
Oh, Ella, I am so sorry. That is not good.
It was like 4, 5, 8.
Oh,
It was a bunch of them that I had put in the correct answer. It was just backwards. And it told me I got it wrong, so I went and tried to figure it out again. And
it is important for interval notation. Yes. Okay, interval notation is important.
How do you know which one goes first?
I'm going to give you an example. I see what you're talking about. Okay. So let's say I were to solve and make up 2 problems, okay? And this is what was from section 2.5, and this is from section 2.7, the one we did yesterday. Okay, so let's say I said solve x is less, let's do this. -1 is less than x is less than or equal to 3. Okay? That's really the solution, but they're going to want it as a graph. And then they're going to want it in interval notation. Okay. Interval notation is important. The order is important. So this one's saying that x is between 1 and -3. Okay? So when you write your interval notation, you have to remember it's from left to right if you're looking at the graph. So you have to start, the first thing that works is -1, parentheses though, comma, 3 brackets. So this answer is important. It has to be in order because you're telling whoever's looking at what is the solution, you're saying any number between -1 and 3 would work. Any number between -1 and 3 would work, except for -1. So if you look at this up here, what number is between -1 and 3? 2 is, 0 is, -0.999 is, and so forth. So interval notation has to be in order. So if you're looking at a graph, it's from left to right. Now, if I do this 2.7, I'm trying to think. Let's say I have the absolute value of 3x minus 2. Absolute value is equal to 7. Just made that up. Okay, so when you are doing absolute value and it's an equals to sign, you set it up. 3x minus 2 is equal to 7, and 3x minus 2 is equal to -7. So that's what we were doing yesterday. So add 2, 3x is equal to 9, x is equal to 3. So that's one answer, and 3x is equal to -5. And x is equal to -5/3. So in your homework, when you write this down for your answer, you can either write 3 -5/3, or they're going to have this solution set around it, or this is okay, -5/3, make sure you put a comma there, 3. So these are only 2 answers that would work. If you put 3 in up here, and for x, 3 would make this statement up here true. If you put -5/3 up in for x, that would make that statement true. Only these 2 numbers. Over here, it's saying every number from -1 to 3 would work for that problem. Does that make sense on that one now? The difference? Okay, Ella had that question too. Jake, you said Dropbox. Oh, no. You've been having CVTC's website. Who else had? John, Dropbox. John, can you stay after class and I can try and help you with that? Okay. I don't know if I've been missing chats. Okay, so that's the main difference between those two. So when you do an intervaltation, it's saying this is the range of all the numbers that would work, all of them. In 2.7, it's saying these are the only two numbers that would work. So very good question. It's good to get that set different or in your mind. Oh, that was nice. Okay, where are you at, Jake? River Falls? Was that Jake? You know, I think I'm going to chop my video because it's taking up too much space and I can't see your chats very well. Okay, John said someone. Okay, perfect. Menominee. Good, John. Okay, and they can help you. You and I will talk after class too. What other questions do you guys have for me? And I can go over the quiz too. I graded quiz 2. And I think I made comments on every person's Dropbox. You guys were awesome. Some of you were only able to do 1 attempt. Please, 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 in the future, stay ahead of the game with your homework, and then you'll have more time to do 2 attempts for the quiz. Although I know these last few sections are 2.3 to 2.2 to 2.4 were some word problems. Okay, Scott is asking a question. Okay, quiz. Now, I was super impressed with people who got that question right on the quiz. Let me pull up my quiz, okay? And I don't know if it's going to let me get into my quiz. So I'll find it somehow, I think. I don't remember who got that question right, but if you notice, I did go and give you guys partial credit on that quiz. All right. I'm finding it, consecutive integers, and I ended up giving you guys a lot of partial credit on that because it was a little bit different than our homework, although sometimes I want you guys to be able to, figure stuff out on your own too. I want you to attempt problems, and they might not be exactly the same as what we did in class. But this was a quiz question, and I'm glad you asked that because it was not the easiest one. It says 3 consecutive integers. In our homework, it was 3 consecutive even integers. There's a difference. Yeah, right, Emma? Those are fun, aren't they? Yeah, it's a little wordy. Yep. Okay, what's the difference between 3 consecutive integers and 3 consecutive even integers? Okay, it's only going by ones. So we have x here. If I said 1, 2, 3, the next number would be x plus 1 and x plus 2. Good. Now in the homework, it was even numbers, so it's x, x plus 2, x plus 4. So that's the kind of stuff that sometimes you're going to have to think outside of the box. All right, we went over what consecutive means and so forth. You know what integers are. So like if I had 6, 8, 10, that would be consecutive even. If I had just regular numbers, 3, 4, 5, that would be just consecutive integers. So now they're asking you to do something with it. So it says the sum of the first and twice the second. So the first is x plus twice the second number, this is your second one, is 122 minus 3 times the third, and the third would be your x plus 2. then you'd have to solve for x. And I believe when you first do x, you'll get 19, and then the next integer would be 20, and the next one after that would be 21. Very good on that one. But it was not a super easy one. Okay, I am going to see if possibly we can go over some other ones. You guys just keep asking questions. You could, has anyone been able to go over the review homework? How about let's change your color to red if you were able to start the review homework. You're able to start the review homework.
Mrs. Parker?
Sure.
On that question you just did.
Yep.
So x plus 1 equals 20, would that be, I can't see it now. Okay. So would you put in 19 for x?
Yep, you would put 19 in for x to get 19 plus 1 equals, you got it.
21. So it would be 21 equals 20? I don't get that.
Right here, see how x is 19? If you put 19 in for this x right here,
Yeah.
19 plus 1 is 20.
Oh,
but if you put
yeah.
19 for x there, you get 19 plus 2 is 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. Sorry.
No problem.
Brain part.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I understand. Good, Emma. Good. You're almost done with it. Now, did you have any questions on that? And I want to bring up some of the quiz too because I wanted to show you guys. Okay? Good. Now, I see a lot of greens. It looks like a lot of people haven't even started the review. Why don't you go ahead, open up the Unit 1 review. Look through it. Just go to the ones that you think are going to be hard, and we can work on those in class. We can do that in class. I'm going through the quiz right now because I know there were some questions that you guys had a little bit of problem with. So I'm just looking at this one. What do you think about number 1? Now, this might not have been number 1 on your quiz. What do you think about this one? Any questions? Some people did a little bit more work than was really needed. This was more of a simple problem. Okay, I can go over this one. So it's talking about tuition. In 1984, the cost of tuition at a certain private high school was $3,420. The tuition in 1990 was 112% of this tuition in 1984. What was the approximate cost in 1990? So you're going to change this to a decimal. Of means to multiply, and that was it. So that's your answer. It was that simple. And I saw some people doing a little bit more work than was needed. So you might have to read through the question, a little bit more than one time. Sometimes they look wordy, but they aren't as wordy. Okay. What else? Great job on number 5 on the quiz too. Now that your number 5, Tish, is going to be different. Can you describe which one it is?
It was a one that there was no rate. There was just time and distance, I think. I can't get back into my quiz. It won't let me, like, review it or anything.
Oh, that's weird, Tish. Okay.
But,
So, was it this one?
yeah.
Okay. There were a couple motion problems, weren't there?
Well, actually, that one's got the rate. This one didn't have anything for rate, and it had...
I'll keep looking. That's fine. I know
I'm
there's
trying
a
to
couple other
find the
motions.
distance. I had it written down, but then I erased it
Oh, okay.
because it was wrong.
So, is this the one about driving to her mom's house?
Yes.
That was it. Okay. That's a good one to go over.
Because it doesn't say anything about the rate. It just has the time and distance, and I was really confused.
Yep. Okay, let's go over that one. Okay. I'm just going to pull this one up over here. We might do it later, so. All right, so on this one, now you all, it's not going to look exactly the same as, on your paper, but it's going to be similar. Okay, so she's going to her mom's house on Wednesday. And then it took 5.4 hours. On a return trip Thursday morning, or Thursday night, traffic was heavier, so it took 6 hours. Her average speed on Thursday was 4 miles per hour slower than Wednesday. So if I put the speed here, if this speed is x, would this then be x minus 4? Now, I had to look at my picture a few times because I saw the 6 hours, and I thought, well, 6 is more, so she's going faster, because I was thinking it was rate. This is not rate, this is your time. It took her a slower time, so her speed should be slower. Okay, then we would do the chart.
And it doesn't say anything about distance either.
It doesn't, and most of our problems did not. Most of the motion problems did not. Yes.
Right, but they had a rate and a time.
Okay. Yep. So let's go over, let's try and make sense of this. So your rate, we don't know for Wednesday. Thursday was slower. Your time is 5.4, and your time for that was that. Now, the rest, you are right. We don't know. So, what are we going to do? So this is where, and I'm not just talking, to one person in particular, but let's just think about this. We don't know the distance, but for all of our distance problems, we just took our distance equals rate times time. So at least we can do that. 5.4x and 6 times x minus 4. But then we have to come up with an equation. And the equation will deal with distance. Now, this is what I was telling some people when they were staying for office hours. This is kind of a good hint. Your equation is either you're going to add the two distances and it's going to be a total distance, or your choice would be that the distances are equal. Those are the two equations for this section that we're doing. You have to kind of look at your situation, either the picture, or sometimes you want to go back and reread the problem. So you have to decide which one of those two it is. So what are we thinking? Are the distances the same? Now we're talking about these two distances. Are they the same, or would you add them and get a total? Now Tish, what made you think that they're the same? So we're going to use that one and not that one.
She's going to the same place that she's driving back from.
Very good. So over here, even though it doesn't say it in the wording, you can see visually sometimes, and sometimes you can kind of read it up above. She's going to her mom's, and then she's starting from her mom's and coming back. to the same spot. So that would be the same distance. And so therefore, I'm going to take my distance of Wednesday should equal the distance on Thursday.